Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tea Time. It is our Christmas special.
Very special.
By the way, if you haven't tuned in and you're wondering who I am and who she is, I'm Thuy.
And I'm Edith.
Hence, Tea Time.
Thuy and E. Argue.
About everything. Yeah. So if it's about everything, it should be Tea Time. About everything, right?
About everything.
But we wanted to, first off, say hello.
And welcome back.
Yeah.
We've not seen you for a while. I've not seen you for a minute.
I know.
We had
How have
a
you been?
long siesta.
It was nice
Yes.
not having to see this one for a while.
Whatever. You text me every day. Every day.
No, those were spammers.
So what did you do on your little vacay?
Oh my goodness, so many things.
So many things.
I did a Spartan race while you were gallivanting all around New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the big one, and it was rougher than I remembered. I did it last year, and this time around, I don't know, I must be getting old.
That's true. You are. We all are.
My recoup time was longer, and everything was aching. But I did it, and I was really proud of myself. It was in the mountains of South Carolina.
Very nice.
And after that, headed up towards Maryland and then Maine for Thanksgiving.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, like you said, I went to New Orleans for my birthday, which was fabuloso.
She turned 68.
Mm-hmm. And my friend came in from England to spend it with me, so we took a little road trip. We did a whiskey tour. We did a ghost tour where I saw a ghost, Delphine Lalaurie, I believe her name was. I mean, I didn't see her, but she was staring at me, peeking through a curtain, which sent shivers up my spine. I'm still getting like goosebumps right now just talking about it. But that was probably the highlight of that trip, seeing that.
The highlight was you getting scared
by a ghost. Yeah. It was fun. It was a great trip. We had a great time. In the first bar I went to, I saw Megan. You know, Megan, she used to work with us at Patrick's, Molly.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call her, yeah. First bar I stepped in, she was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Amanda's like, you can't go anywhere without you knowing somebody. Even New Orleans.
Right.
But yeah, fun times. It was good.
Yeah, she actually called me too. She was freaking out when she saw this supposed ghost.
Not supposed. It was actual.
And I think I was like soaking in a bathtub. I was just so like, so I'm like, look, I'll call you back. But yeah, I remember Edith was freaking out and hyped up.
I was very impressed. It was a real ghost tour.
If you say so.
Mm-hmm. I do.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You'll have to come to New Orleans. I'll show you.
All right.
Okay.
So today, we had mentioned earlier that it's a Christmas special, and we want to talk about all the different ways that people celebrate Christmas all around the world.
Yeah, let's do that.
And our own traditions.
Yeah. Firstly, how did the Christmas tradition start? And when did it start?
Well, the word Christmas is actually the origin of the Mass of Christ.
Right.
So it celebrates the birth
Mass.
of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And Christians and Catholics all around the world celebrate it, but it's since then become a very wide and broad tradition. So even countries that aren't Christian, that don't even have Christianity, like for instance, like India, Japan, widely, Muslim or maybe like Shinto, they even celebrate some of the traditions just because maybe it's just like fun traditions or fun things to kind of partake in.
Yeah, it was initially the celebration of the days becoming longer. Like it started in the winter solstice,
right.
So it was a celebration of the days getting longer, the days being brighter. So, and it were all about feasting, mainly about eating lots of grub.
All celebrations revolve around
food.
stuffing yourself, right? Yeah, it was something where even Christians and Catholics have said it, that Jesus wasn't probably born on December 25th in the winter time. Well, winter in our part of the world, right? But probably around springtime, but it wasn't celebrated or recognized until later on in the calendar year, because I guess maybe because of persecution, for one. They were afraid that if they were to celebrate the birth of Jesus, they would be captured and executed. So they kind of wanted to maybe celebrate it under the guise of the winter solstice, where other pagans were also celebrating, to kind of maybe give the facade that they were celebrating as well, but not really, not the same thing.
Well, it was Pope Julius I who chose December 25th. Probably, they say, to weaken the pagan spirit, or to weaken all the pagans, kind of. Because obviously the Pope, being Christian, was like not very in with the pagans.
Right.
So it was to weaken that, I believe.
Right.
A little.
Yeah, it's it's kind of just interesting how that all started, and then we've continued it for however long now.
Many centuries.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was first celebrated in 432 AD. A long time ago.
Right.
Well before Jesus Christ.
AD?
Mm-hmm.
AD is after Jesus Christ.
That's what I meant. 432
AD.
AD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was probably celebrated before, but maybe that was the first, like, recorded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was probably celebrated, but maybe in secret, or not well, recorded or written down. But did you know, to be honest, that there's like, going into this and looking up stuff, there's so many cool little nuances and little things that you don't really think about. Like, for instance, like, you ever think about, like, well, why a tree? Like, why do we bring something that's living outside? Let's chop it down and bring it inside to the house.
Right.
That's a little bit odd, right? Like, why not just leave it outside and decorate it in your yard?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that started back with the Germans, who saw the evergreen tree as sort of symbolizing the tree in the Garden of Eden. So they would decorate it around Christmas time with apples, again, symbolizing the tree that was in the, the whole fruit
bearing
knowledge, the tree of knowledge and all that. So it was like an homage to that. And then later on, it just gradually became also decorating with lighted candles and bringing the tree actually inside the house. Great idea, by the way. Lighted candles all over, melting inside a house that you can just
burn down.
Yeah.
They were mainly made of wood.
But that was the origin of the Christmas tree. And then as Germans, whatever century it was, like maybe, I don't know, let's see. I'm not sure like what century, but they started migrating, obviously, to other parts of the world. They took that tradition with them and then carried on.
And got bigger. Okay. Do you know that Christmas was once cancelled?
What do you mean by that? How
Christmas
do you cancel
was cancelled.
Christmas?
Well, in 1645, Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces, when they took over England, they wanted to rid England of the decadence and all the spoils and stuff that they had. So they cancelled Christmas. They decided to cancel Christmas. You
mean like kind of like the commercialism of it?
Yep. Well, not so much the commercialism, because at that time it wasn't commercialism. Not so much. It was more like they would say the wealthier folks, they would have to bring in the not so wealthy and feed them and be nice to them and all that. So like Cromwell did not want any of this, and he rid England of the decadence, and as part of that effort, they cancelled Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was the Grinch.
He was the Grinch. But Charles II, he restored it when he was throned king, so he brought it back. But Boston carried that on for a long while, the cancellation of Christmas.
I didn't know that.
Yes. You Bostonian.
Well, that's horrible.
Bah humbug.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that you could cancel Christmas.
Yeah, well, they did.
Did you know? Because I'm looking up like all these things.
It was actually outlawed in Boston.
Really?
You'd have to pay 5 shillings if you celebrated. And I'm sure back in 1645 that was a lot of coin.
How could they tell? Like, so if you had a Christmas tree in your living room,
Or
you're not going to do that.
Cheery, or
if you were
happy
cheery
and drinking sherry and all the rest of it.
If you gave someone a present, I can just
Yes.
say that was for your birthday.
Mm.
Wow. If you gift someone a fruitcake,
Yeah.
that's 5 shillings. Don't pass along that crap. It takes an average of 15 years for a Christmas tree to grow.
Yeah,
That's a
from
long
4
time.
to 15 years for it just to be cut down for 2 weeks in a house.
And these farms, they have acres and acres, like Christmas tree farms.
Yeah.
How on earth is that, in a sense, profitable when it takes 15 years for a tree to grow? I don't know how many you can fit in, like, say, 1 acre, but it's sitting there for 15 years before you can
Chop it down.
make money off of it.
Well, it depends on how big you want it to be. Like, I was just walking downtown and I saw some little miniature Christmas trees, some little mini ferns down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, those are baby ones.
Yeah, they only
Shouldn't-
take maybe 2 or 3 years to
Aw.
grow.
Let
Well,
the
not
baby
grow.
ones grow up.
Yeah, let them grow up.
Did you know that in the United States alone, that over 3 billion Christmas cards are sent every year? 3 billion.
I know.
That's amazing for me for this day and age, considering we have texting and social media and digital stuff, and people are still taking the time, even if they don't write a lengthy personal message, they're still at least signing it. But they're taking the time to actually put it in an envelope and a stamp.
I remember my mum used to, in fact, my mum still does that to
I
this
do it.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, many people do. I've gotten over the Christmas card phase. I mean, I used to do it all the time when I was younger. Like at school, you'd put them in the mailbox at school and give them to all your friends and stuff. And even when I got a little older, I'd still send some out. But then I'm like,
I still send them out to people who live far away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't send it to you. I'm going to see you. Why would I send it to you? I'll just say, Merry Christmas, Edith. Send.
You know, it wasn't until 1870 that Christmas was declared a federal holiday.
In the U.S.?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep.
By what president or what
June,
entity?
on June 26th, 1870.
1870.
1870.
In June, they declared it.
Yeah.
So it's not even like around Christmas time.
No.
Okay.
No.
Another cool thing that I learned was, talking about how Germans had the origin of the Christmas tree as we know it. Supposedly also the Advent calendar, little things like that you don't think about, right? The Advent calendar was supposedly, as tradition has it, invented by a housewife in Munich, which is a city in Germany, because she was tired of her kids having to ask her every day how many more days until Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how many kids she had, but she was tired of it. And so one year she just decided to create an Advent calendar, which obviously evolved to what we have now, where there's like even little boxes or little envelopes that you can open up with
Get
treats.
Gifts. Yeah.
But that helped kids to count down.
The days to Christmas.
I would say just teach your kids how to read a calendar.
Yep. I would.
But that's how that started.
Yeah. And back in the Middle Ages, the Christmas celebration was rowdy and ruckus, a little like the Mardi Gras celebration now. That's what Christmas used to be like in the Middle Ages.
Anything to just party.
Yep. Anything for a shindig.
That's supposedly how it's like now in Brazil and places like Australia, that they just go to the beach in swimming trunks. I don't know what the temperatures are in December in those countries, even in Australia, but they go to the beach, and then I guess Santa Claus shows up in swimming trunks, whoever that they designate as Santa, and they party.
Well, anything for a party.
Yeah.
So do you know how the legend of Santa Claus came about?
I actually do, but I would love for you to tell our viewers about St. Nicholas.
Well, he can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas. He was born in Turkey around 2 80 AD. And he gave away all his belongings, all his inherited wealth, and he travelled the countryside helping the poor and the sick, becoming known as the protector of children and sailors for some reason. Children and sailors.
Sailors because there's a legend, a story that he was traveling because he lived on the coastline of Turkey. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was like one of his trips to the Holy Land where he was on a boat and then the boat got capsized and sank, but he maybe prayed and then the waters and the waves subsided. So I believe that that's the reason why he became the patron saint of sailors. Yeah. But yeah, he supposedly came from a wealthy family, and then I guess in his village or neighborhood, he heard of a man who had 3 daughters. Is that what you were going to go into?
No.
Yeah, he heard of a man that had 3 daughters, and they were getting up in age or something or other, and the man was poor. He came across bad times, and so he didn't have enough money for what was called a dowry, which is, I think it's a little bit opposite, because I thought that back then the husband or the soon-to-be husband was supposed to pay for
it's the father.
Right.
The father has to pay for them to take his daughter.
Right. And I guess the whole theory behind it is, ages and times were different back then. But the whole theory is like you are now going to be taking and taking in another human, another person, and taking care of them, feeding them, protecting them, safeguarding them. So for those reasons, I am paying you for that, for providing all of those things. So he had to set aside a dowry and he didn't have money to marry them off. And back in those ages, it sounds horrible, but this is just how it was. If you weren't married, if you were a woman and you weren't married, it was kind of like you're going to have a pretty bleak life because you were not going to have a husband to take care of you. You're not going to have any kids. So you would be really poor if you didn't marry off. And so the father, being sad, I guess word got around. St. Nicholas, well, he wasn't a saint yet, right? Because he was still alive. But Nicholas heard about it, caught wind, and he wanted to pay for the dowry in the middle of the night because he didn't want to kind of embarrass the father by kind of accepting charity. So he threw a coin bag in his window and then fled. And the father, of course, was so happy, married off his first daughter. St. Nicholas, maybe the next day or the day after that, he did it again, and the father was able to marry off the third daughter. And then the father was catching what was going on. So I guess he stayed up one night to try to see who this good thief or good whatever was, right? This Robin Hood. So he waited and waited, and he actually caught St. Nicholas, but I guess St. Nicholas swore him to secrecy, saying, don't let people know that it was me, blah, blah, blah.
Well, didn't keep his word, did it? Because we all know about it now. Right. Yeah.
So obviously now the tradition is like if you leave your shoes or your stockings by the door or by the fireplace, because back then when you're out in the snow or the rain or just the wet, you want to heat up and dry your shoes and your stockings. So you put it by the fireplace to get warm. That's how it kind of started.
Hanging stockings on the fireplace.
Yeah.
Filling them with things. So
goodies.
Yeah. When did that come about?
But children,
that's all commercialized.
Children in the Netherlands would leave their wooden shoes outside on the doorstep. So
the wooden clogs?
Yeah. So things like that would evolve from that. But yeah. And, thinking about that, there is a city, a very small village in Switzerland called St. Niklaus, which if you say it like that, you could hear how the word Santa Claus came about, right? But St. Nicholas, as of the year 2020, the population was only 2,224 people. And it's a stop that you have to take if you're coming in from like anywhere in Italy, if you're going into where the Matterhorn is located, a very distinct mountaintop, part of the Swiss Alps. And it's cool because you're going on this little train ride and it's like, next stop, St. Nicholas. We're like, oh, cool. And it's just like this little village, So I thought that was cool. But it was named in honor of St. Nicholas. That's why the town is called that.
Yeah, so Christmas.
How do you celebrate? What does your family do?
Well, growing up back in England, it would be obviously opening the gifts in the morning, or maybe just one of them. And then we'd have like roast beef or lamb for breakfast with hardo bread. And then we'd just spend the day cooking for the dinner. And everybody would be around the table. We would eat lots of food. And then we'd open as gifts.
Nice.
Later in the evening after having some eggnog.
So you actually open it on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my family too. Because I know some families open it Christmas Eve.
Yeah, those that with the kids that are like, I want to open something.
They can't wait.
Okay, open one.
Right.
And I'd say, well, open one, but you probably won't have any more there in the morning because Santa will come and take them all away.
Right. There's like a tradition that I guess Daniel started with the girls a while ago, besides for leaving your stockings out and this and that. So he also leaves a plate of cookies out for Santa.
And the reindeer. Mm-hmm.
And some carrots for the reindeer.
Yeah.
Yep. And when the girls wake up, they see that, the cookies are gone. The milk is drank. And then the carrots are bitten into. So.
Yeah. Up north, my Italian in-laws, they would celebrate, like they'd throw birdseed and stuff out for the reindeer out in the yard and leave cookies for Santa inside. Yeah.
With my family growing up, it was nicer because we were closer, and obviously since then we've all like moved to all the different parts of the US, but we all got together and big meal, like you said, and this is up north, so it was cold. And when we were done eating, we just went outside and played in the snow. We had snowball fights.
That's
we
fun.
made snowmen.
Yeah.
Right, all the kids, all the cousins and everybody. And then the family would just sit around and they would sing Christmas carols to each other.
Yeah.
They would eat fruit and ice cream and just sing Christmas carols.
Smashing.
I think it's weird that they sang it to each other and not, they sat around a table and sang versus like, say, I don't know, going to people's houses and singing, but whatever.
I believe like in the Middle Ages, I think it might have been the Saxons that I read, like they would slaughter their animals, like the cattle. They would slaughter the cattle around the winter solstice. One, because they didn't have to feed them, or, like they couldn't afford to feed them. And they'd have to feed them more in winter, I don't know. But they'd slaughter a lot of the cattle. So that was like the only time that many people got fresh meat around the winter solstice. And also because they would make their own alcohol, as you know. At this time of year, it had like finished fermenting. So they would also drink the alcohol. So they had fresh meat and lots of alcohol to celebrate the winter solstice, which became Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
What's mincemeat?
Mincemeat it's a fruit. It's a fruit. It's a pie filling, and it's made with currants and raisins and maybe some apple mixed in there, I'm not certain.
Okay.
And orange peel and stuff, and you put it in pastry and you make a mince pie. It's a sweet pie, and it's really good. That's one of my favourite Christmas pies.
But why is it called mincemeat?
I did not invent it. I do not know. I just know it's called mincemeat. It's not meat. It's minced fruit. They could call it minced fruit pie, but mincemeat pie is better.
And then what are some of like the foods that you would eat around that time, like the pudding?
Christmas pudding?
Talk about, yeah.
I personally wouldn't eat Christmas pudding. I don't like it. It's another fruit pudding. It's a fruit pie. It's just lots of dark fruit in there.
Is it like bread pudding?
No, it's not like bread pudding.
Oh, okay.
And I would, however, substitute the Christmas pudding for a mincemeat pie. And I'd have mincemeat pie with a white custard, and it'd have little brandy or sherry on top of custard. My next door neighbour David used to make that all the time for me. I loved it. It was delicious.
It's not pudding the way some people in the U.S. might think of as pudding, by the way.
Which it would be soggy, like...
It's like a cake.
Yes, it's a cake.
It's not pudding.
It's called Christmas pudding. You know the song? Now bring me some figgy pudding. That's one of the Christmas songs, right? What is it? Yeah. Is it We Wish You a Merry Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Now bring me some figgy pudding. That's the same thing. Figgy pudding, Christmas pudding.
Why don't they just say soggy cake? It's soggy cake.
It's not soggy cake.
It's soaked with brandy.
It's moist.
It's not pudding.
It's a moist cake. It's a moist Christmas pudding.
It's soggy cake.
We also have Boxing Day in England.
What?
Yes, Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas.
You boxed your gifts.
Well,
or do you mean like this?
I would say no. It's a day like in Britain on the 26th of December. Boxing Day was for employers to traditionally give their servants or workers a box of gifts, like the day after Christmas. So like they're not worthy to celebrate on Christmas Day. But the day after, when
sales.
They can have all the scraps that's left, all the food and stuff.
Like here's my ham bone.
Yes.
And here's Yes.
I always thought that Boxing Day was like all the gifts you didn't like, you boxed up and gave to somebody else.
You regifted.
Yes.
That's where you got it from. Edith does it all the time. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, I have a box of wine that needs to be redelivered to the Christmas White Elephant at McCurdy's Comedy Theatre.
Can I bring up like a tradition that I think is preposterous and I think is like...
Is it a British tradition?
Originally, no.
Okay, well, yes, you may bring it up.
But I like how you just automatically thought that I was going to rank on
me.
The British people.
Usually.
I think, tell me what you think, the tradition
I will.
of the mistletoe. What on earth? That is so silly. Oh, look where we found ourselves. I guess we have to smooch. That's
for people who
gross.
Are haggard. So like they'll carry the mistletoe around.
Yes.
And just try and get kissed by anybody. Somebody kiss me, please. Look, I'm under the mistletoe.
That's probably exactly how it started.
Yeah.
It's saying that it was like a tradition from the ancient Greeks because supposedly mistletoe symbolized fertility and the white berries also symbolize fertility. But Druids, Romans, all these things, it's saying the same thing. But again, I just think that was maybe some guy couldn't get a girl to give him a peck on the cheek. And so he just made up that story.
Yes.
But people are saying that I guess birds would land on the mistletoe because mistletoe is actually poisonous.
Yeah,
it's poisonous. And that people, the word missile from the Anglo-Saxon word for like dung and toe coming from some word from branch, so like dung branch, because it would be seen after birds had left their droppings there. And so that's the origin of the word mistletoe.
Who wants to be kissed under a dung tree?
Right.
A dung branch.
Right. So then they would take that twig or whatever, or that branch, and hang it over an entryway. And they say that every single time that a kiss is exchanged under that particular mistletoe, that you have to pluck one of the berries off until all the berries are gone. And then, I don't know, you hang up maybe another one. I have no idea.
So you just keep plucking off the berries?
I guess so.
Each time you get kissed or just after?
Yeah, each time there's a kiss that happens underneath that mistletoe branch.
So then eventually there'll be no more kissing under the branch.
Right.
Because there'll be no toes to kiss under.
Unless someone replaces it. But I just think that that's a very odd tradition, and I would never partake of it. I don't care if I find myself under one.
I think you might have partaken once in your life kissing under the mistletoe.
I would have punched that person if they tried to do that to me.
Ho, ho, ho. Bah humbug twee.
So you're telling me you have participated in that?
No, I don't do that.
That's a weird tradition.
It's a tradition.
Yeah.
Lots of traditions are weird.
And it's not mine.
You either follow them or you don't.
I'll make my own.
Well.
Anything else to add, Edith?
I don't think so. Did you give us your what was it? The little trivia. Have you got any trivia for us?
Oh, well, that was like some of the trivia I had was the different things and origins of traditions. I know that there was a weird incident where some kind of marketing campaign in the 1970s caused KFC to be the popular Christmas dinner option in Japan.
What? KFC?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I don't know, but it was successful because then it was really popular in Japan as your Christmas meal. And another thing is this kind of makes sense because I know some people who are from like Bulgaria and Hungary, but I guess in countries like that, Western or Eastern Europe, I'm sorry, they value and treasure the spider. Like if they see a spider in the house, they won't stomp it. They'll either kind of pick it up and shuttle it along or put it outside, but they won't kill a spider because the spider is good luck.
I won't kill a spider either, only because I'm scared. You don't want to squelch it underfoot or... I can't kill things. I can remove them. Well, I can put them under a cup and let Tony remove them. I can't go near them.
Well, one of the interesting things is in Ukraine, which is near like Hungary and Bulgaria, they also view spiders as good luck. And instead of the Christmas tinsel that you might see that you kind of pick and put around the tree, they use spider webs to decorate their Christmas tree. I don't know if this is true or not, so let me know. But they supposedly use spider webs because it's a sign of good luck and put it all around the tree as tinsel. That's a weird tradition if that is true. It's supposed to bring you good luck and fortune.
So is the lottery. I would decorate my tree with lottery tickets.
And in Greece, because it's a very coastal country, it has lots of ports, obviously a huge coastline, many islands, so they would decorate their boats in Christmas decorations.
A little like down at the jetty down there, down Sarasota. I think they had the boat parade for Christmas. All the boats decorated with the lights.
Yep.
So
and then just different countries will either have fireworks or parties, like big festivals. In Ethiopia, they play this game that's very similar to hockey. So all the kids will gather around and play
hockey in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
On the sand.
I guess so.
Because I don't think it snows, does it?
Maybe not, but they'll still celebrate. And
it doesn't snow here.
Right.
And we have a hockey team. We have a couple, actually, right?
I think so. I don't know about the origin of the German Christmas pickle, where if you hide a pickle in the tree, if you're like the first to spot it or find it,
that's funny.
It's supposed to bring you like either an extra present or you get extra good luck or something.
Yeah.
But that's a German thing as well.
A friend of mine gave me a pickle for a Christmas tree decoration one year for my birthday. And I'm like, a pickle? Maybe it's because I play pickleball. And then she told me all about the tradition of putting it on the tree and whoever finds it. I'm like, oh.
Maybe it's because they do a lot of pickles in their cuisine, so they just think it's funny and
witty.
Yeah. But
well,
cool. Interesting, right?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I would love to hear what our viewers, how they celebrate Christmas, or if they don't celebrate Christmas, but if they celebrate another holiday around this time, what are your traditions? You know, what do you do? What are some of the things that you partake in? Please let us know in the comments below or send Edith an email. She's bored, so she needs something to do.
I will read them and return email to you. Not.
And we hope that you learned something or had fun. Thank you so much for joining in on this episode of Thuy and Edith Argue.
Christmas style.
Edith, can you let everyone know where they can find us?
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, pretty much any major or not major listening platforms. and we thank you
Thanks.
wholeheartedly. Merry Christmas. If you had fun listening today, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.